Hi and welcome to this part of the tutorial. In this part we're going to talk about classes. So classes in JavaScript are like classes in so many other programming languages such as Python. It has the very same structure with the difference that some of the names might be different, but here let's create a new file called classes.js. And then we can create an HTML file too. So I can copy this one and rename it to class. And as you've seen, HTML and JavaScript files do not have to be necessarily the same as named the same as each other. So here, classes.js, and here do not need to write everything in here, and we can console log our results, but here let's see the results here, and so let's save the code. Okay, class.html and also other classes.js. Okay, anyway. So first of all, we want to create a new class. So let us create this. So it's like defining a variable. Actually, using a declared class is like defining a variable. But creating a class is written this way. So first of all, we need to write class, so class, and then we write the name of the class. So for example, here we want to create a class for the employees. So here, class employees, we have parentheses, and then we have a bracket so that we can have a code block. So here we've got a class, and let's see what is the error right here. So expected a block. So actually here we do not have parentheses, but here we have constructor, and this constructor here, if you have worked with Python, is like init function. So here we bring in the variables that we want. So we have a parentheses, and the variables that we're looking for are inside of these parentheses. Then we have a code block, which is related to the variables that we want to use. So here we have employees, so we want to care about two important variables: the name of the employees and the age of the employees. So here we can define the variables. And if you have worked with Python, we have self, but here we have this, and you're probably familiar with this because it was our previous tutorial about what are different this is. So here this refers to the class, which is the employee, but it also refers to the variables that we might have. So this dot name, and we also have this dot age, and they accept the variables right here in the parentheses: name and the age. So there we go, these are the variables. We also have methods in a class. So for example, here we want to have a method for age, and it can have a parenthesis. Actually, it has the parentheses, but it can accept a variable, or we can have no variables. So here we want to have no variables, but we will also try with the variable ones as well. So inside of the code block here, we want to see the age of each one of our employees. So what we want to write here is, so first of all, we need to get the birth date. So the birth date of each employee should be given. We might be better, because we want to calculate the age, it's better to here write the year of birth. So year of birth. So let us copy it all around here. We had the age here. So let's change all of them to year of birth. There we go. And I would like, okay, no problem. So here we've got the year of birth and we also have the date, right? So this way we can always update the age of our employees so that we do not need to change that. So for example, when we get to the next year, we do not need to update the age for each one of them as long as we know their year of birth. So here we get the year, for example, and this is this dot year of birth. And also we got the date right now. So date, year, or for example, year now. And before that, we will also need to write let date equals to new, actually with the small letter, new date, and then parentheses, and this will give you the current time, the current date of today. And then we only need the year because the date itself will give us the exact date with second and milliseconds and hour and minutes. So we only need the year. So current year equals date dot get full year, which is here, one of the methods. So there we go. So we got the full year. So we want to know the age here, right? So we return. So we have the year of birth of each one of the employees. So we have the year and the current year. So now that we have the current year and the year of birth, so let me add it, also add year of birth. Or maybe change this, or actually we don't need this because it's better to write it this way. It's much more precise. So current year minus this dot year of birth, and we don't need this variable anymore. So here we've got the date, the date of today, and then we get the year from it, which is becomes 2022 as the time of the tutorial being recorded. And here, this dot year of birth is the year that the employee has been born. So here we go. We've got the entire class with one method, which is age. You can add other methods for other different features about the employees. But for now, let's focus on this method right here. And methods in JavaScript, in the classes of JavaScript, are like functions inside of the classes in Python. So here it's like a function. Here the method age is like a function, and this is like the init function in Python. And I'm telling this in case you have studied Python and then you want to see how they are in Python. Anyway, so here we want to use a class, so I can write let employee1 equals to, and then we can write the name of the class, employees. And then here we have two parameters. We have the name of the employee and the year of birth, right? So the first one is the name of the employee. So for example, we have Jim, and the date of birth for him was 2014. So actually here, let's write it in number. So actually not 2014. So he is, for example, he's born in 1992. So let's see what is his age. It should be 30. So let us write document dot get element by ID, get element document fragment, no, document dot get element. And as, by the way, document is written with a small letter. That's why we're not getting get. Okay, get element by ID. And then we have parentheses. And what was the name in here inside of classes.html, class.html right here. So it was the names. So it doesn't really matter what it was. I can write names. Don't need to change the name, but okay, here that's all right. So inner HTML, and it equals to employee1, and here we want to see the age of this employee, right? So we write dot age. So here we'll be able to see what is the age of the employee. If we have written all of these code right, then we'll be able to see the age of the employee on our HTML page. So let me also get here. Let's see the age of the employee. So let's save this. Also, instead of the classes, let's save this. Now let's find the HTML file that we've created. So it was classes, so we should look for C here, classes, class.html. So let's open it up inside our Google Chrome. Let's see the age of the employee. So now right here, here we have names, and also in our HTML code we have names. So this is all right. Let's look for other problems, if there's any. So let us just have the employee1, and here we refresh the page on Google Chrome. So still nothing. Okay. So document.getElement by ID names, and here we have the employee. So here the problem is, if we look at the inspect elements, and in the console it says that class constructor employees cannot be invoked without new. So the problem is, here we should have written new before employees. So if when you want to create a new object from the class, use the class, then use every time you want to create a new object, you write new in JavaScript. So here we should have done this. So let's save the code and retry here. And here, as you can see, we have the object, we have no error. So here we should write .age and then the parentheses. So let's save the code and here refresh the page. And so at employees.age we have another problem. Current year is not defined. So here we should write let and define this variable so that we can have this defined. So return current year, and let us check. Okay, employees, and there we go. So let's save the code and refresh the page. As you can see, the age is 30, so the problem is solved. And so here inside of the code block, don't forget that you should write let. So before that, in other places, you could have defined a variable without let, but here inside of a class and inside of a method, you need to actually use let in order to define a variable. And if you don't do that, your variable will not be considered as declared. So don't forget to declare it with let or var or even const if it's necessary to use const. So here let is a better choice. So I write let, and there we go, we got everything. So let's create another employee, and let's write let employee number 2 equals to new, and then we have other employee from this employees parentheses, and here we have Kim, right? Kim, and she is born on 1995. So let's save the code and see how old is she. And also we probably need to add another one here for seeing her age. And so we need names 2. Save this, and here inside of the class we need another tag for that. Copy and paste names 2, save this, and now let's get back to here. Again we have 30, so that's a bit odd here. It shouldn't be 30 because the name, the age, actually the year that she's been born is different. So let's see. Okay, it's because it's employee number 1. So let's change it to 2, and now it should be working very well. Refresh the page, and as you can see, it's 27, right? So we can add other employees so easily, and actually the good thing about this kind of writing code is that, for example, you create an array or a map consisting of the name of the employees and the ages, but the ages actually increase time by time, year after year, and you have to update all of those maps inside of your code. But when you get the real date today here this way, and you get the year of birth of each of the employees, you don't need to change the map, and you can easily create the objects that you want, and the objects will be updated because they get the data of the current year and also the year of birth for each of the employees, and then it's automatically updated with the current date. So this is one of the benefits of using class, but there are so many benefits. Your code becomes much more optimized and much better. You can work much more efficiently and in a much better way. So that's it for this tutorial about classes. You can add even other methods right here. So we have age. We can have other methods like, for example, the role inside of the here the main reason that we've added this method because we wanted to do something with the data right here inside of the main constructor inside of our class. So the data that are static, that we don't need to make change, they're written here. They're the raw data, and here the output of these methods are the kind of data that will be processed by the data inside of the constructor, right? So this is the whole mechanism and the configuration of a class.